Thank you for listening to Old Dog, New Tricks. This is a podcast about passions, pastimes, hobbies, anything you set aside time for in your daily life. I'm excited about this episode. I'm talking to somebody who speaks with such passion about their passions. He's an award-winning member of his field and has done his passion all around the world. Today we're talking about running with my friend and father-in-law, Charlie Neugebauer.
The one and only, hopefully.
Just the one. I say running around the world because you go on big trips.
I do. I love to travel.
You love to travel. And
combine running with that travel.
Yeah. And you've ran in a lot of cool places.
I have.
What's like one of your favorite places to kick us off?
Strasbourg, France was really cool. I was running around the city, which is thousands of years old. So you've got architecture from thousands of years in the past, present, future, different times when France was ruled by Germany or France. You've seen different architecture, and it was just cool.
Yeah.
Reykjavik in Iceland, great run there. A lot of different places.
You just go out and, I mean, you do this daily. This is like your daily routine.
Running is, it's a big part of my life. I probably average around 50 miles a week. Last year I had almost 2,500 miles of running in the year.
And so when you go traveling, like that's a big part is like, where am I going to run while I'm there?
Yeah, it is a big part of it.
And yeah.
And you bringing it up brings back all these memories, like running in Berlin.
Yeah.
In the Tiergarten, and like just all these cool places.
Right. It's you're running through history. And you're
running through history, seeing so much more.
Yeah.
You know, I always wanted to run Central Park as a little boy. And I had a chance to do that a couple times now. And even something as simple as Central Park in New York is a memorable experience.
Yeah. I want to walk there. And you just ran through it.
Add it to your list.
Ran a couple miles through it. When did you start running and why?
So I really started running without the intention necessarily of running about, early 40s.
Okay.
Basically, maybe my midlife crisis was just going out and running. But I was way overweight. I just didn't like how I was feeling, how I was looking. Like I was an athlete growing up, and I was like 230 pounds. Like, could just tell the trajectory I was on, that path I didn't want to be on. I didn't want to see where that took me. So I went out for a simple run. It was literally like a block. It beat me up. The next day I was sore. My tummy was sore because this fat was jiggling, right? So but I just stuck with it. And eventually it just kind of became a passion for me.
What do you think, what steps did you take to make it stick? Because I've tried running, I've tried running a couple of times, I think, and I just can't get, there's a lot of things you can do that you just can't quite get to stick. Was it just one time for you that you were like, this is what I'm going to do?
Definitely not.
Okay.
It was, I think a runner's superpower is his ability to just stick with it.
Yeah.
Just going to keep coming back and being forgiving on days where it just wasn't quite coming together, giving myself time to rest, and honestly just sticking with it and just slowly building. Like when I say I went a block, it was literally like a block.
Yeah.
And in my mind, I was just like, I'm going to go a block plus a driveway. Because I know I can do the block, and I know I could add a driveway.
You can see it, yeah.
And eventually that turned into the first mile after, honestly, a couple months.
Yeah.
But then mile 1 became 2, and then 2 became 4. And, this morning was a 20-mile run. So
just a casual.
It's just, just a base 20-mile run.
How long does it take you to run 20 miles?
It took me 2 hours and 50 minutes.
Wow. Just for fun.
8 minutes and 30 seconds per mile.
So you wake up.
This is something annoying about runners. We'll tell you all this stuff you don't want to know, right?
Your
means something to us.
And did you wake up and just start the day with the run?
Yeah.
You don't need anything or.
I run fasted. What's called fasted.
Okay.
So I just wake up and go.
Yeah.
No water, no this, no that. Just go.
Do you have water on you while you're running?
Nope.
Oh my gosh.
No, just
you're
go.
out there for 2 hours, just.
To almost 3. Yeah.
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 When do you? I feel like I always turn to extremes as soon as I start doing things like this. But when do you when is it considered endurance? Like, are you an endurance runner?
I enjoy endurance running. I almost prefer that.
Okay.
So I've done endurance. I've done what are called ultra marathons, which for people that aren't familiar with it, that's any distance above a marathon. And a marathon's 26 miles and some change. So an ultra is anything that's further than that.
Okay.
So I did like a 50K a couple years ago, and that was 31 miles. And I prefer those, especially trail running, because I feel like I see so much more. The pace is a little softer.
Okay.
There's times when you're power hiking.
Yeah.
There's some sections you're going to walk, like when you're going uphill. It's not worth the energy burn to try to run up a hill.
Right.
When you still have 20 miles to go, you know?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
it's a softer pace.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I gravitate more towards the endurance than the speed.
That makes sense. And you're out there just enjoying the views.
Yeah, I love the views. I love the views and I love the people. The running culture is really supportive. It's really friendly. Because I think you look at your fellow, I don't even want to say, it's a fellow athlete. It's not a competitor. Because you know ultimately your running race is just against yourself, what you can do.
Yeah.
And you're supporting the other guy because you know he's in it battling for
Whatever.
10, 20, 30 miles also, you
Yeah.
know, and it's encouraging each other.
Yeah. That's incredible. Yeah, they call it a race, but a race usually is very competitive, and you're out there just running just for the sake of you, and that's incredible, because then you're helping somebody along.
Yeah.
Yeah. Picking them up so they can beat their personal record or whatever.
And they will tell you, honestly, the boost of supporting someone else also boosts you as a runner.
Okay.
And that's, I kind of read that. I've studied ultra running and marathon running and read that, and it's true.
Yeah.
When you're out on the course and you're supporting someone along, that's boosting you just as much as it's boosting them.
Yeah, pumps them up.
It's cool. I think it's cool.
Incredible. So you get out there, I mean, daily you're out there 20 miles just casually.
I mean, not daily 20 miles.
But
and I don't always run daily. I run 4 days a week, and then I'll weight lift the other 3.
Okay. How many pairs of shoes do you go through? This is something fascinating that you've brought up a few times.
I mean, so I've had to buy what are called training shoes, because you can put 500 or 600 or 700 miles on them, which for me might be 4 or 5 months. And at $200, $250 a pair of shoes, it's important that I'm not burning them out every 6 weeks or something like that. So you kind of learn which brand fits your foot well.
Mm-hmm.
And then you want to tailor that shoe for your event. So there's trail running shoes.
Right.
There's obviously sprint shoes and marathon shoes and different things like that. So that is a big important part of it. And surprisingly, I'll throw a little fact on you. Socks. Having a really good pair of running socks is huge too.
Yeah.
When you look at a marathon, you're averaging about 55,000 steps. So just having a good pair of socks can make all the difference in the world.
Because that's all the contact on your foot.
That's a lot of contact. Yeah.
It's a lot of movement. So are blisters unavoidable and just kind of eased by the sock? Or is there like a good sock that you have that you're calloused up at this point?
I mean, honestly, I've never really had a blister from running.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think if you do some good research and kind of plan out your run and your training, you'll avoid a lot of the issues that new runners run into.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'll often hear people say, running, why would you run? That just sounds terrible. And I get it. And I think the mistake new runners make often is they're going too hard, too fast, too far.
Yeah.
And the first couple of runs should honestly be walks. And just getting out and putting some mileage down and just seeing how you feel.
Yeah.
And not sitting there and saying, I'm going to go run for 10 minutes. And then they end up essentially running their max speed. And about 3 miles, not even 3 miles, like 3 minutes in, they're beat. Yeah. And I don't blame them for being beat. It's I wouldn't do that either.
You start out slow and just take it incrementally.
Yeah, take it incrementally. Take the next day off. See how you feel the next day. Just tiny additions to it.
Yeah, yeah. What's something when you started out that you wish you had done differently when you took that first run? Or
oh wow, there's so much I wish I would have done a little differently. Probably doing a little bit of research and listening to the experts. A reasoned and researched run will actually leave you with a little bit in the tank at the end of the run, as opposed to having spent all your energy. So there were a lot of times when I really burnt myself out.
Yeah.
And if I had not been so persistent, I might have quit.
Yeah.
And I think that would be it, is just spend a little time learning from an expert, even if it's just on YouTube, reading a book.
Yeah.
And follow their plan.
Do you have anybody that you would, like, you follow now that you wish you followed then when you started?
I mean, I've worked with a couple different running coaches over the last many years that I've been running. And I mean, I definitely recommend finding a coach, just finding somebody that you kind of gravitate toward. There's so many things they can teach you that are just absolute lifesavers that will keep you not only moving in the sport, but really enjoying the sport and having success in it.
And with like the coaches, I mean, it's obviously worked for you because you've won a couple of awards.
Like the Boulder is the 10K up in, obviously here in Colorado in Boulder. It's one of the biggest races in the world for 10K. I mean, they'll average, it's not uncommon for them to have close to 50,000 runners in that event. So yeah, I mean, I've had a couple opportunities. Like this year I finished 9th in my age group, which I think is kind of cool for an old dude like me, right? So, but yeah, the very first marathon I ever ran, I actually managed to get first place, which I think is a funny story. How many people try a marathon and then manage to win the thing the first time out? So, I mean, yeah, I've had some success with it.
Yeah. What marathon was that?
It was in South Dakota. It was the Veterans Marathon in March.
Yeah.
They've got several events. One of them's a 110-mile march. They've got the marathon. They've got a timed different events as well. So that was a cool experience.
Yeah. And how long ago was that?
It was in 2020, actually.
2020, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. 5 years later, you're still going.
I know, right?
You made it stick.
You made it stick. I mean, it's here to stay.
That's great. And I'm still baffled, I guess, by, do you take any snacks with you at all?
No.
You really just go?
I just go. People will say, well, how many breaks do you take? None.
Wow.
I mean, the key really is to just keep the legs turning. And you're running at a pace that you can sustain for that. So,
right.
Obviously I'm not sprint running for 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
So, that's the key. And I think that's why I enjoy this part, is the mental part and the physical part of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're just out there keeping it running. I guess if I imagine it, it's like I'm out there suffering for,
right.
If I'm thinking about a 2-hour run, I'm like, that sounds crazy, but I assume what you're doing is not easy. You say it's not the hard one, but I'm sure it's not the easy version either.
I mean, what makes it hard now is, part of it, I'm always kind of intimidated by it. The other part of it is there are some times where it's a bit of a mind game in that you can become bored. Honestly, you'll hit you'll hit hour 2 and you're like, I still got an hour to go. I'd rather be watching a TV show or reading a book or anything at this point. I'm just kind of bored of this thing I've been doing for the last 2 hours.
Just looking at trees out here,
exactly.
Or the buildings, and that's a good point. We can't turn on I was playing Peggle today, and I was like thinking about talking to you, and I was like, you can't turn this on while you're enjoying your hobby,
right? Right.
What I think you spoke a little bit on the bonuses, just like the physical bonuses that you got out of running. But what, in your experience and also professionally, what's like some of the great medical reasons to be doing what you're doing?
Well, there's tons of really good physical reasons to run. Obviously, the cardiovascular, the heart, the lungs, the endurance that you're building internally. I was kind of surprised. I was mistaken in kind of believing, well, runners are going to ruin their knees. You'll hear that often. And one of my running coaches mentioned, no, he's like, you're going to go into old age with fantastic muscles, bones, tendons. And he's right. Like, that kind of work you're doing is modeling your body in a way that's kind of rebuilding itself in a stronger manner. And that's kind of cool. And what I didn't realize when I first started was the mental benefits. I kind of somewhat struggle from anxiety. I'm kind of a high strung dude, and I get kind of persnickety on things, right? Like I'm a little OCD, but after a long run, I don't care about anything. You could be like, your house burned down. I'm like, that's cool. We'll get a new one tomorrow, there's insurance for that. So just the mental benefits. There's a lot of times when I'm running and you'll smell the grass, or in the fall, you'll smell the leaves, or the summer, you'll smell the cut grass. And it takes me right back to being 8, 9, 10, 11 on the baseball field or the football field. My parents in the stand and my brothers and sisters there, or playing tag with them, smelling the flowers when my kids were playing and we were in the yard. Like, that brings me right back. And those are some of the most wonderful memories. So the mental part of it is just huge.
Yeah, that's poetic.
It's kind of how I feel sometimes. I've had some of my best laughs, my best cries, my best.
Oh, yeah.
And those secret moments in the middle of the night. One of my favorite sayings is runners are made when nobody's looking. Mm-hmm. And there's been some of that, those quiet moments where it's just you in nature and your thoughts. And it can be poetic.
Yeah. Yeah. That's wonderful. What is something that you would tell somebody who's trying to get into running? What's like the first thing you would let them know? I know you've said a lot about
it. Take it easy. Take it slow. And be consistent. Consistency is actually the most important part. You'd be much better to do a 10-minute run 3 times a week and just do that over a couple of weeks, like 6 weeks, than anything else. Than trying too hard, too fast, and then falling off and letting a week go by and then trying to come back. Like, just be consistent. Mm-hmm. Like, I personally believe, for me, that I should have some kind of physical activity every day. I owe that to myself. I owe that to my body. I owe that to my mind. And so I make that a point of every day is doing something, whether it's weight training or running. One of those activities I'm going to do every day. Because I always seem to find time for TV. I always seem to find time for my little computer game and this, that, and work and life. And all those things get a piece of time too. So I want to dedicate some time for that physical activity. Because it doesn't do me any good to save a bunch of money for retirement if I get to that point and I'm just in a wheelchair bombed out. Yeah. It's kind of my mind. It's part of my retirement investment.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is investing in my physical well-being as well.
You have the capacity to
spend do all that stuff. Yeah, right.
Yeah. So what are you working towards now running? Like, do you have a race coming up?
Oh.
Speaking of retirement.
Right.
Looking toward the future.
I have a couple races. I'd really like to do another ultra, probably for next spring. I'd love to do a couple of half marathons. In fact, I was on just this morning looking at a couple of half marathons here in Colorado that look really good. It's always nice running events outside of Colorado just because I'm training at basically 7,000 feet.
Yeah.
And I get a huge bonus when I come down out of the mountains, especially, I've gone to some races. I went to one here 2 years ago in Smoky Mountains. Everybody was a little intimidated because the event kind of winds its way through the Smoky Mountains, which they call mountains. Mm-hmm. And they were talking about elevation, and I was like, well, geez, what is the elevation? Like, maybe I should consider this. And they're like, oh, it's like 1,300 feet or whatever. And I'm like, oh, that's like 6,000 feet less than what I'm already running in. So I think I'll be okay on this one.
Just fine, yeah.
So, yeah, I'm always looking at different races. Mm-hmm. I really enjoy a company called Vacation Races, but they'll put on their events in the different national parks. Mm-hmm. So I got to do Mount Rushmore a couple of years ago, the Smoky Mountains, part of them, the Rocky Mountains. They have a couple of different events that always are grabbing my attention.
Yeah, yeah.
I'd love to do Yellowstone, Teton. I could talk about that all day.
Yeah, yeah. But you like to go and like you have the capacity to take in your surroundings while you're running. And is that just something learned while you're running, or it's just become not that it's easy, but it's become so natural for you while running that you can now look? Because I know some some people put on their headphones and some people are just
Wow, you've asked a really good question. I do put on my headphones.
sure.
I do, especially on trail races, you do pay attention to where you're putting your feet. But yeah, I think I've managed to always take a second to just kind of lift your head and lift your eyes, take in the place that you're enjoying. And yeah, that's a really good question. I definitely enjoy the surroundings, even if I'm only catching glimpses of it every here and there.
It's going by pretty quick.
It's going by quick.
Yeah. That's I just feel like when I'm if I'm running, it's just a little bit of a struggle, and like looking around is not on the forefront of
right.
Of
and that's fair. Yeah.
So it's fascinating to hear you're able to like take in the places that you're going to, and it's cool to be able to run that circuit in a beautiful place like that.
Right.
You can say you've done it, and that takes us right back to traveling around the world, where you get to, check things off your list and run around London and Iceland and all that.
Yeah.
Where do you think you'll run next around the world?
Oh, I was looking at a trip to Japan earlier today, so that could be on the list.
Yeah.
Like the ultra I did a couple years ago, that was in Zion National Park, and that was speaking. You brought back that memory. Just speaking of the beauty of running, because that part of that event was on the Mesa tops, and so you could look down across the vistas. And I honestly stopped on that race a couple times to take pictures.
To look,
they encourage, right? That's great and fun, but
absolutely.
Anytime you're competing, you wouldn't think to stop and take a picture.
But that's part of it. Part of your runs is you're out there finding new places to look at.
Right.
It's incredible. It carries you places.
Right.
It's inspiring. It's inspirational. Gosh, I mean, I think that's about.
Well, I do have a question for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is that okay if we turn the tables?
We can dive into whatever.
Because I'm curious, as you talk to different people with different loves and passions and hobbies, I'm curious if you discover that their hobby lines up with kind of their inner spirit, their inner soul, like the inner calling they have. And the reason I ask that is I've heard there's like 11 or 12 different forms of human intelligence. And I would say athletics, growing up for me, were my strong suit. Definitely not reading, writing, and arithmetic, but you put me out on a field and throw a ball around and we're game on, right? And I wonder if that passion that I have for running is just tapping back into what would be considered my core intelligence. I look at my dad, who was really good with, he's doing college algebra, mathematics, succeeding. His hobby would be Sudoku. To me, that would be torture, right? And I'm curious if you have any insight on, our hobbies just aren't accidents, I don't think. I wonder if they tap into something deeper about who we are and kind of our core intelligence and our soul and spirit.
I think it does tie us back to what it is about bringing yourself joy. I think it's important to spend that time. We talked to Zay, who just loves to see people smile and break that ice and meet new people, and so he can just do a card trick real quick and put a smile on somebody's face.
Right.
Or, Leah, we talked to last week, and she just has such a wonderful eye for the world around her, and it sounds like she gets a little bit of that from you, being able to take it in such an incredible way. But I think the hobby, I don't think it's so much we don't stumble upon it, but it is something that's really
something in there.
It is the reason it's I don't want to just stop at hobbies and call it passions or pastimes, is because of, first of all, how passionately you talk about running, or how I don't have to ask a whole ton of questions and pull it out.
Right.
Like pulling teeth.
It just kind of spills all over,
just,
right? It bubbles up and comes on out.
Yeah. And I think it is, you're just pulling from years and years of, this is what I want to do. And I think in my, why I've been doing this is because I have my own hobbies. I mean, you can see they're around here now, there's just guitars hanging on the wall. And that's just what I do. And that's what I've done for years. And it's what brings me joy.
Right.
and I like hearing more about the passion, and I like hearing about how these passions and these joys and like this kind of understanding of yourself really lines up. And yours is very athletic, but you find that time to look around you in nature and enjoy the beauty that you're out in. And that's Aaliyah last week was talking about how just being out in the garden for 30 minutes and sitting down and just being surrounded by the wildlife and being able to take it in is just a huge part of her passion. And that's, I think that there's a lot of different things that tie us together. I don't know if I can speak a whole lot on human intelligence. I don't think I considered that.
I think it's maybe just knowing there's so many different forms of human intelligence, and I wonder if our hobbies kind of tap into that.
I would believe
spirit of who we were, from day one.
And I think we're finding out. I feel like I'm only a couple episodes in, but
I think we're discovering together.
We're figuring it out. So that's a fascinating concept, and I will
now that I turn the tables on you,
keep my fingers on the pulse definitely. But I really do enjoy. Like, I think part of it is just the inspiration that you speaking on running and being able to just encourage somebody to just be consistent about it. I mean, that applies to everything. That definitely applies to a physical activity like this. But if you're learning to do something, or if you're trying to better yourself or your mind, that's what mostly what a hobby is, I like to think. And if you're sitting down for 10 minutes a day and setting that time aside instead of just sitting on your phone or watching TV, like, that's part of the passion blooming.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think that's great advice for just anybody who's trying to get into something. And I want to be able to help. Like, I just like hearing from you and your passion, but I also like being able to, somebody can listen to this and be like, I do want to get into running. This is great advice that I haven't heard before,
I would love that.
Yeah.
You could even send them my way.
Let them know. You can go see Charlie.
Yeah.
He'll get you set up. But I'm excited about where we're going with this and learning more about what our hobbies and passions do for us. But I think you're onto something, that there's a certain amount of what our hobby is just a part of what brings the joy out of us, really.
Yeah.
And taps into that.
Speaks to our inner souls.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you for asking a question.
Yeah, of course.
I know I ask a lot of questions, so I appreciate you bringing a question.
For sure.
Yeah, I think that's about, we covered a lot. Is there any final thoughts you have on running?
Oh man, final thoughts. Yeah, just get out and do it.
Go.
Just go. Just do 5 minutes. That's it. Just do 5 minutes.
That seems so quick, honestly.
Honestly, it's all it needs to be.
Yeah.
In the beginning.
Wow.
And it doesn't even have to be more than that. Any runner will tell you that 5 minutes is better than no minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And a fast mile is the exact same mile as a slow mile. And it doesn't matter. It's all a mile.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Perfect. Just get out there.
Just get out there.
Thank you for sitting down with me and chatting.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. I appreciate it. This has been Old Dog, New Tricks. We were talking to my father-in-law, Charlie, about his passion for running. And he was giving us, just a little exciting challenge with our podcast to make sure we're keeping our mind activated and watching the trends here on everybody's hobbies. So thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye.